is based on designing portfolio for faculty professional development. And for this purpose, we have wonderful speaker, Dr. Zari Sema Siddiqui. And a very warm welcome, Dr. Zari. Are you there?
I'm here. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, we can't see you actually.
And why do you see me? I've turned my camera. My camera is on.
Okay.
Let's turn it off and do it again. Just 1 minute. Off and now on again. Can you
Wow.
see me?
Yeah, I can see you now. Thank you so much
Okay.
for joining us today. And let me introduce about yourself. Dr. Zari Seema Siddiqui, who is Associate Professor in Medical Education at University of Western Australia, and she is currently leading the Doctor of Medicine program as the inaugural head at Wayne University in Vietnam. And very warm welcome once again, Dr. Zeri. And Dr. Zeri's session is about the e-portfolio. That's a collection of artifacts created by a user that may include text, electronic files, images, multimedia, blog entries, and hyperlinks to undertake activities just like you are browsing a web page. These have been used for student assessment in various fields
Sorry.
and as well
And
as
Dr.
for
Zeri's session is
recruitment
about the
purposes. So, in
e-portfolio.
this
That's a collection.
presentation, she will discuss the use and development of e-portfolio for academician. Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Sadia. And Assalamu alaikum, everybody. It is always a pleasure for me to talk to colleagues from Pakistan, and anything I can do, please feel free to contact me. So let me share my presentation from here so then you can start your entire screen. I'm normally not very familiar with Google, so I always use Zoom or other forums. So let's see. Let me know when you start seeing the screen, please, somebody.
Yeah, yeah, I will guide you. No worries.
Can you see the screen for my presentation now? So I have already started it sharing from here. Says I must be doing something wrong.
Just click at the bottom where,
Yeah,
where you can see the bars present now.
no, I'm there. Yeah. So it says present now,
Yeah.
a window, and now I'm going back to the window, and let's see.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, so e-portfolio is not really a new thing, and I think everybody has heard about e-portfolio. But as I was talking to Naima, e-portfolios are used by the students a lot now. And what I want to do today is to let our faculty know that they can also create their own e-portfolio and how to go about it. And you can stop and interfere anytime if you have got the questions, but I think I've kept plenty of time for asking questions at a later stage. And feel free to ask questions in Urdu or English. It is perfectly fine. I don't think we have got anybody who cannot speak Urdu today in the audience. So for me, I wrote just one outcome, create an e-portfolio. If you have got anything else that you want to add, I still label it as outcomes. We can add it now. So feel free to tell me we want to do something else. Anybody? Have you muted everybody or is it just me who can speak?
Dear audience, you can directly talk with Dr. Zeri.
Okay.
It's a
But
very
because
informative session, and I know you are not shy at all. So you can directly to Dr. Thank you.
okay, then I will continue and don't complain that I was the only one who was speaking for 40 minutes then. So, what we should be able to do at the end of today's presentation is that when you go home, you have got some idea how to create your own e-portfolio and what you will be doing in next few weeks. I guess, are you people on winter holidays now or you are still working?
We are still working and we are looking for different vacations.
I, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? We are
Yes,
still looking for the winter vacations.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So let's see. Okay. So the first thing, what is an e-portfolio if I'm asking you to create one? In simple terms, it is just a collection of digital artifacts. Artifacts means digital pieces. Very simple definition if you do not know how to explain it to somebody who is not an educator. But then a proper definition is that you need to have a platform where there is data available, which may contain some text. You may include some photographs. A lot of people are including audios in form of podcast, and there may be videos that you may have developed. Like you go to a conference and you ask somebody to record your presentation, and all of them are organized and can be retrieved when you want to. In 2009, there is another definition that it is communicating about your learning and professional experiences to a wider audience. PebblePad is one of the portfolio management system, and the definition from that is that it allows you to showcase your capabilities, the events that you have participated in, your learning plans, and any other event or story which is personally or professionally significant to be linked to your own development, to be applied, and or something where you have done where you have reflected upon how to improve it, what is the next step in your career. So I personally like the number two definition, which is simpler and is able to be understood by faculty and students both. Why should faculty create any portfolio? Okay, we are asking students to create a portfolio, but why should faculty develop any portfolio? Anyone?
Naima, would you like to say something? Why we need to develop the portfolio?
Yes, I guess it's again the purpose of showcasing what are we doing and what are our professional or personal experiences working with students
Yeah, sure.
and our achievement as well.
Yeah, so you want to showcase your achievements. You want the world to know what you have been doing. Anybody else? Okay. So there are really three purposes for the faculty to have an e-portfolio available to people. First, for the purpose of showcase. Yes, I want to show what am I doing. Some of the institutions want their faculty to showcase their portfolio because it gives a wider perspective about the institution as a whole. Then, at a personal level, you want to go for a recruitment at some other institution, you want to go overseas, you want to go to a higher position for recruitment, and you can build your portfolio and you can send that link to the organization. And it was in 2003. Yes, 2003 when Higher Education Commission was established around that time. And I actually sent my portfolio for the position. And as I'm told, I was the only one who sent a portfolio while everybody sent a bundle of the documents with their CV. And I got selected. I always think that everybody was equally able to get that position that I was in. But I think I got an upper edge because I actually submitted a portfolio. There was no e-portfolio at that time, so actually I submitted paper-based portfolio. So for recruitment, it is very important. people want to see what you have done rather than just reading it on the paper. It is also, to me, sometimes it is also a negative consequence because I'm from Australia. And in Australia, according to the Fair Work Australia, we are not supposed to ask people about their gender, their age, their ethnicity. But now with e-portfolios, we actually know everything about the applicant. So I don't know whether it is favorable in positive terms or it actually puts somebody at disadvantage. But recruitment is a big plus for people who want to develop an e-portfolio. Then, where you are working, you want to apply for promotion. And many institutions now ask their faculty to submit a portfolio or an e-portfolio for the purpose of promotion. And it is much simpler because then you have got very clear guidelines what is required at the level of assistant professor, what is required at the level of associate professor, and you can build your e-portfolio around those requirements. So primarily there are three basic purposes, but then I will also add one more, that if you are asking your students to develop an e-portfolio and you want to be a role model for them, and especially for University of Education Lahore, where you are actually creating the educators for next generation. So if you want them to develop their own e-portfolio, it will be very good for you to share your e-portfolio, because then students can see, yes, my faculty also maintains an e-portfolio, and how important it is for me as an educator to have one. So for you, it is also for the purpose of role modeling. So let's go. What do you need to do when you are creating your portfolio? Number one, you define the purpose. Very important. Why you want to start an e-portfolio, and it can be any of the three. And the fourth one, which everybody should be doing for the role modeling, but start with the purpose. Number two, select the model. As an educator, we know how important the theoretical models for us are. And I particularly like this article, which is from 2004, where there are very clear four models prescribed by the authors. And this helps you a lot in deciding which model you want to use for the purpose that you are aiming for. So let me go through the four models and then you can see which model is best suited to you. Shopping trolley. So it can be just one page on web or something where you have listed everything under the headings. Shopping trolley model, it can include anything that you want the world to know. Is that simple or am I going too fast?
No, that's okay.
So this is the simplest form of a model to use for e-portfolio. The second one is toast rack model. So you can have different compartments according to your needs, and you can place all of the collection of artifacts into those categories. So like somebody wants to add skills log, how many teaching sessions you have done in one semester, how many courses you have taught. Then your second compartment can be about the competencies as an educator for the assessment. What are the snapshots that you can provide that you have been assessing students? Very good, authentic, creative. Then reflective accounts can be another one where you actually write reflective summaries, why a particular thing worked for you, what was that which did not work for you, and how you actually improved that. And then you may have done some research or you have got some feedback, evaluations where you can add them. So there are different categories and they are all into individual compartments. So let's see the example of different sections where I can click and go on different pages on a different pages on the website where I can click and go there. Again, depending on what are the requirements of your institution or what are the requirements that you want to show the world. This is a competency based model and it is exactly like our spinal cord is arranged. I like this model if you are applying for a job, because in every job application you will see that there is essential criteria, there are some desirable characteristics. So you can pick one of them. Let's say communication is one. So you can have a competency around communication and you can add some link to a presentation that you have done. You can give a link to some of your teaching sessions, or you can give access to your blog in that, because even online communication is very important. So you can build each of the competency, and against each competency you can identify some evidences which somebody can click and say, yeah, this person is very good in this particular field, she has achieved so much around this area. So this is called the spinal column model. Then our last one is a cake mix model. This is really form of an integrated portfolio where a lot of emphasis is on integration and your narrative about. So at some point you may feel that it is not easy for you to separate everything. So you still keep some categories, but you build like a network around them so everything comes together. So this is called the cake mix. I particularly like the toast track and the competency model for my students. So these are the four models that you can pick from, but I know in the literature there are heaps of models. Now, you have decided the purpose, you have decided which model you want. So now comes what to include. As you are all academics, so I suggest you collect all the teaching materials that you have developed. You write the reflective summary and you select the material to include in your portfolio. So just teaching material may not be enough, so you may use some of the student feedback. You may invite somebody to review your teaching material and ask them to give you some feedback as a peer, as an academic, and you can include that. What else you can include? Any other ideas? Anyone else wants to share?
Well,
Sometimes
yeah.
maybe some examples of assessment we have used during the semester. Those
Yeah.
examples can be displayed in our portfolios.
Yes, perfectly fine. So just not the teaching material in form of PowerPoint presentation. You can also build a link to how you were assessing those learning outcomes. So you may also use some student performance data on that, that this is the assessment that you use, your students perform like that. You can include some analysis of your assessment. And then one thing else you can include if you are doing any research. But when I look at the literature that is used for hiring, when you look at somebody's portfolio, almost all employers want to see a brief CV and a teaching philosophy statement. They want to know, what is your teaching philosophy like? So these are the two essential elements, but then you can include other things. So you may be serving on the examination board. You may have a board of examiners or something like that at the university. You can include that you are a member of so many committees at this level, but always try to include what is your role in that committee. So I can list like 24 committees that I go on, but I may not be very actively involved in those committees, except in some committees, I just go and sit for 2 hours and do nothing. So if you are a chair of the committee, it is really a big thing because then you are spending more time on your committee work. So make sure that anything that you are doing, which is of significance and significant to the role that you are actually showcasing to the world. So try to think of these things, and you may just put a sticky note on your computer as you remember that, yes, I've got this, I will add this. So you can literally jot down everything, like making a list of groceries when you are going. Personally, I don't have a CV on my portfolio, and I always think I will do one. So, but the CV keeps on changing sometimes so frequently, and it is important to keep it updated in that case. Once you've got thing, then try to create a layout because you don't want somebody to see your e-portfolio and say, oh, what is there? I can't even see. There are so many colors. It is very colorful, but it is meaningless to me. So try to create a layout. So when you have got all the material, I will suggest to categorize it. It is just like if we have got somebody from qualitative research background, that you look at the content and you try to create categories, themes around that, and then within those themes you look at the meaning, how some meaningful analysis can be extracted from that. So try to create a layout. Again, I'm from an older age group. I still love sticky notes. People, my daughter can do it on the computer. She knows so many softwares that can be used. But for me, it is still the sticky notes because I can see it over my table. I can move one sticky note as I see. I don't have to go on my computer or mobile phone to do that. So try to create a layout. You can just jot it down on the paper how you will do it, a diagram. Again, I'm a visual learner, so I like to do that. Once you have done that, I think this image tells you more than what I'm telling you. So try to add significant items in your e-portfolio. If a student has written me a nice letter, I would consider that as a very significant item because it has come from a student, and that holds more than we do all these evaluations where we calculate means and medians and whatnot. To me, compared to those evaluation items, a student's email or a nice note that they have written to me holds much high importance. So try to find what actually is significant for you and then choose the top five, choose the top six. So it depends on how much space you want to create in your portfolio and how much collection you have got. Try to organize them in a way that it looks good to the person who is reviewing. Again, I always ask people to go from the most recent one. Nobody is interested in knowing when did I do my MBBS, how many distinctions I got in my MBBS, but they will be interested to know what I'm doing currently. So I always go from the recent to the past. And again, how long do you want to go? So some people say anything that you have done 10 years or earlier, it's not really worth going into your portfolio unless you really want to show a significant improvement from that time. So try to be very tactful. Strategic, maybe, is the right word. Once you have gone there, then comes really the platform that you will use for a portfolio. Again, there are too many available in the market now. So this is the one that I saw last night. It's called Portfolio Gen. I didn't know about it till last night. So while I was searching, I found this one. And again, you can see the categories there where this person, Megan, has developed. It's about her education experience, then work experience, and some narrative accounts, documents, and lessons that she may have done. One thing you will also see here that there is a link to different websites that she has created. So I can see that she is on LinkedIn, she is on Pinterest. I think this is Instagram. I do not use it much, so it's not me. And then Twitter and Facebook. She also wants to show people about the books that she like. So something that may be of interest to others, you can add. Again, this is one of the platforms that you can use. There are two other that I personally like. One is WordPress.com, which is very simple to use. The one that I'm using for my e-portfolio is Wix.com. I like Wix.com because of the templates that are available in that. It is very easy to create your own portfolio, even if you are not a technology person. So once you have got all the documentation, your layout, your categories, you can select any of the platforms and start working on that. Again, on Wix.com, there was this teaching portfolio of a professor of chemistry, and it was very simple. Something about the professor, then personal statement about me, then the professor has just gone through publications, how to contact the person, and because this person is a researcher, so he also had a research blog. So this template is available on wix.com. Again, look at the price. So you can start a portfolio for free on all of these websites, but if you want to go for some extra features, then you need to pay for that. You also need to pay if you want to have the domain in your name. So I got, like, instead of wix.com, I got zarinsiddiqui.com. So for that, I have to pay annually. I think it's about 50 American dollars. But it also gives me a lot of other features to use. So it's up to you. You can have a simple one, or you can go with your own domain name. With your domain name, it becomes easier because if somebody wants to search through your name, they can just Google your name and Google will direct them towards your website. Again, it is very tech savvy thing, so you can add the keywords when you are developing your e-portfolio. So anybody who types those terms, they can be directed to your e-portfolio. One of the things that I learned on the way is that the more frequently you update your e-portfolios, the more ranking it comes in your Google. If somebody is doing a Google search and there is a website which has not been very active, so even through the search, the person may not be able to go towards your e-portfolio. So make sure when you have done your portfolio, you use the right keywords where somebody can be directed. If you don't want to use your own time for this, now there are multiple sites where you can actually use professional people to do it for you. You just need to provide them the content and they can create it all for you. And usually the cost is very less. I think it's less than $20, but it is worth investment if you think you cannot devote so much time to this. Again, once you have selected the template, then the thing comes that organize your e-portfolio within that template or on that platform. Look at the layout, experiment with different things. Most of the websites will allow you to upload an album with all the photographs that you think are significant to be shown to the world. So organization of that e-portfolio, which is very aesthetic, is then, and I think we all have got that creativity within ourselves. So you can do a better job than me telling you how to do it. Once you have got your portfolio ready, then you have to publish it for the public. And once you've done that, you also try to link it with your other accounts. So, like the one I showed you earlier, that Megan has got an account on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook. So it means you also need to have an account on all of these things. So LinkedIn, I will suggest, yes, please do that. You need to have a LinkedIn account. Somebody may ask, if I got a LinkedIn account, why do I need to have an e-portfolio? But I see in LinkedIn, it really does not give me that feeling of e-portfolio. So if you look at my LinkedIn, it tells you what is my education, where I have worked, but it doesn't give you that feeling that you are looking at my e-portfolio. So it is just one way to connect to the professionals in your area. So do have a LinkedIn account, and in that LinkedIn account where it asks for your description and summary about yourself, you can add a link to your e-portfolio. So if somebody wants to look at your profile, then they can go on that website and see what you have been doing throughout. Twitter, very good. If you are a Twitter person, sometimes it is a waste of time. And for me, the personal challenge is that on my Twitter, I also have got so many political statements because I don't want to have 2 or 3 Twitter accounts where one is for politics, one is for personal use, and one for academic. So I've got only one Twitter account, and to me, it doesn't sound very academic if somebody is looking, because I make fun of so many things which are not related to academic, but I never do that on LinkedIn. Similarly, Facebook, if you want public to know about your Facebook profile, or you have got 2 accounts, one for your family, friends, and one for academia, then it's good. Otherwise, I do not use Facebook as a professional way to connect with anybody. So, Facebook, I keep very separate. It's for fun, it's for family, it's for my very close friends. That's all. I do not add any of my students or any academic that I do not socially interact with. So I keep my boundaries. Facebook is for me and my close circle. Twitter, anybody can read what I tweet because it does not have those circles. LinkedIn is again in a professional capacity. So I will never post something which is not within the professional sense. So make sure that you only connect your portfolio to the platforms where you are feeling comfortable that people can see that. If you are applying for a job and your LinkedIn profile or Facebook has got images or something very nasty, don't do that. Be authentic. An e-portfolio is a very authentic account about yourself as an academic. So try to add the things which really mean something as an academic. Do not post everything that you think is okay, and do not exaggerate. Sometimes I read e-portfolios of people who I know, and in the languages section, they will write so many languages: Urdu, Hindi, Arabic, English. But really, can you read Hindi? I can watch Indian films, but I cannot read Hindi. I can read Quran, but I cannot have a proper conversation in Arabic. So be very authentic when you are writing something in your portfolio, because there is nothing bad that somebody calls you for an interview if it is for recruitment purpose, and then they find out that actually what you were saying in your e-portfolio is not the correct thing. So be authentic, use only the things which are meaningful. If you are going to a conference where you have been given a certificate because you have presented something, why would you like to show it to the world? Because it is really very Pakistani specific, where in every conference you go for a presentation and you get a certificate. What people are interested in knowing is, what did you present at that conference? So rather, if you have a link to your PowerPoint or presentation, that is more authentic than showing to the world that you receive a certificate from somebody very important. Yes, but if you have received a teaching award, yes, show that you received an award in teaching for this. You received some other awards, a recognition at a national level, at your university level. All universities give awards for the teaching excellence. If you have got that, yes, show that. You can show that in your image gallery with the year that this is the year that you receive it. Uh, so as an academic, I tell people that you only tell the things to the students that you do yourself. So here I'm asking you to update your e-portfolio regularly, but I'm the culprit. I have not done it for like I think 18 months now. So if you are developing an e-portfolio, which is for recruitment purpose, please make sure it has got all the updated knowledge. So you have to update it regularly. Spend maybe 30 minutes every month. You don't need to do it every day. So 30 minutes a month is something that you can manage easily, and it is important. If you do not have anything to update, that's fine. So, but in 1 month, if you have got some significant thing, like I know Sadia writes articles in the newspapers, the columns. So if she has published something and there is a link with the date, then it shows to somebody that she's very research active. She does not have to write that she is a thinker and she's a good writer, because she is giving links to her writing already there. So make sure that you are showing to the world what you are actually doing. Again, a few years back, I decided, and that was very ambitious thing, that I will write a blog every week. I could not do it after 2 weeks. Then this another one came that I thought that I will do it at this interval. Again, it was not manageable. So if you cannot do it, it is perfectly fine. I did not announce to the public that I will write a blog every week. So time management and regular updates are important. You can see a uh, sample of my portfolio. So like I say, I've got my own domain name, www.zarinsiddiqui.com. So let's see, maybe I can go it from here. It should come. Because I'm old enough and I have got too much to share. So you can see I've got different categories. So this is all about teaching. So I've written my teaching philosophy and what I consider as a proper teaching statement which reflects me. Then you can see I've also added some feedback. So I've got two feedback from student groups where students have provided. So if I click on that, you can see what sort of feedback I've been receiving. I also make sure as a habit that at least every 2 years, I've got somebody to observe my teaching. And if I'm doing online, I will give them access to my course and I will ask them to provide some feedback to me. And again, as I say, I have not updated it and I've got more observations, but let's see. You can see one of the peer observations. So this is from 2015, where one of my colleague gave me the feedback. Again, you can use the same template for yourself. It's all available to you. I will open one of the student feedback and I've got more recent. So this is very quantitative feedback from the students in terms of mean. So this one was done by the university and I included that in my portfolio. So again, there are statements. If you want to use the same quantitative measures, you can. So this is about my teaching. Then my experience, as I say, I do not have really a CV there, but I've got, so you can see what I've been doing at UWA. So this is because I'm the lead for the assessment, so you can see what I've been doing in the assessment, what courses I'm teaching, and what is my current research and supervision like. I've also added another category here, which is about my projects. So MD portfolio. So this is the portfolio that I'm leading for students at UWA. This project praise was a grant that I received from the university to introduce innovative assessment projects. And this is a magazine that my students use as part of their assessment. So I'm also a mentor in one of the programs. So it gives people a good view about what my role as an assessment person at UWA is like. Then again, people can see before UWA, I was at HEC. So what did I do at HEC? And before that, I had worked at 2-3 other organizations, but I just wrote it as pre-2000 and people can see. Same thing for, yes? I can't hear you.
I don't see your thing. Where do you want to go up?
Okay. Sorry, I cannot hear you still.
Actually, the information you are sharing with us, we cannot see. It's not visible here. Yeah.
Okay. So I thought when sorry about that. So, okay, I will leave it here. I thought when I click on that, you can still
We really want
see.
to see that portfolio, Petred. Actually, we are interested to see this.
Okay. So anyway, you have got the presentation, so you can go on the link and then anybody can have a look. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
So I'm not a very scary person, so you can tell me if you cannot see anything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's go back, if I can come back here. No, it's completely disappeared now. Can you still see my presentation?
No.
Okay, it's just disappeared. Just give me 1 minute.
Thank you.
I need to go back to. Okay, so I was not able to see your comments. Just before I proceed further, Naima, you want to know about the attitude scale, but this scale is not mine. It was just a presentation, a copy of the figure from the article, so I added it there. I'm assuming it was one of the research that the person has done it. So let me see if I can go back. Actually, that was my last one. So you can see the sample, and now I think I'm available for the next 20 minutes to answer any questions that you have. So I'm back to you.
Yeah. So we would be happy to see of your portfolio. Can you please demonstrate that pattern to us?
I can try again if I can do it, but
I can just open your portfolio in a separate window.
Let's see.
And then you share your screen over there.
Yeah, I will. Let me see if I can, because I first start. I just close those windows. 1 minute. Let me try again.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay, so what are you exactly seeing now?
I can, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just move on the medical education. Yeah, I can see a
Yeah.
picture. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
okay.
So if you see, I've got the first tab was for teaching. So let's start from the home. So at home page, people can see where I'm working, what is my qualification like. Then
Right.
you go into the teaching, and as I've said, in the teaching, you can see what I'm currently doing. Then you can see what is my experience like. So again, I've added only three sub pages there. One is for UWA, one is for Higher Education Commission, and one is before Higher Education Commission, what I was doing. So you can also click on the link. So like I was the lead for the student convention, so you can read the report. Then what I did in faculty development, what were the publications that came when I was at HEC, what did I do in nursing education, examination system. So these were the portfolios which I was looking after when I was at HEC. So you can see that. Then when you go into the research, you can see what are my current projects, what articles I have written, what conference submissions are there, book chapters, and some of my presentations are also there. One other sub page that I've got is about the awards and honors. So what did I receive in terms of the grants and all the acknowledgements which show that I'm a good teacher. One of the things that internationally is very acceptable is what do you do as part of community service. So because I'm leading a group, Pakistanis in Australia, I've added that. So there is a link to that website. I was also looking after the whole migrant sector in WA as part of my community service. So it is there. And then, as I say, I also have got a blog, which I thought is a very good thing to do. And I was not able to continue with that. So, if you can see, the last one I did was in 2018. So, some of the blogs that I started are all there. They also showed to the world what I have been doing. But then, because now I'm also on LinkedIn, so it is a bit difficult. Now I use LinkedIn for writing the things.
Mm.
So this is how the portfolio is. You have got the link. You can look at that and create your own e-portfolio. Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Dr. Zain, for your wonderful presentation. Dear audience, if you have questions, you can directly ask Dr. Zain, please.
You can even write down in the chat box and I can answer.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Jin, I have a question that, the Pakistani students, they are not very much encouraged to initiate their e-portfolios, especially those students who are pre-service teachers or even the early researchers like MPhil and PhD students. So, what benefit do you see for them to showcase their work or their academic achievement? And what is the benefit for the student community to have this e-portfolio?
Okay, so one thing that you can do because you are training educators, you can ask them to start something in their first semester. And I give you an example of the course that I'm leading now. So I've started the e-portfolio from first semester of my medical students. At this moment, all they have written is an introduction about themselves and where they want to be after they finish 6 years of medical program. Then they are doing a group presentation. They will attach the recording of that group presentation and some really small things. And the motivation for them is that this is something that they will keep on building over the period of 6 years. And at the end of the 6 years, they can use this e-portfolio for employment, for scholarships into post graduation. So you can tell your students that this is the way why e-portfolios are now necessary. and this will be something that will be required for your job. So it is best that they start doing it now. But then you have to provide them with a lot of guidance. What exactly they need to include in their e-portfolio and how you can help them. So one other thing that you can do, you can look at one of the job descriptions, any job at HEC or any job from a university, and you can give them that job description and say, hey, this is the job that you will be eligible to apply when you graduate. So write down a CV about that, create a diagrammatic representation of why you should be selected for this job. And when they are doing it, they will say, actually, I do not have this. I don't have the teaching experience now, but this requires 4 years of teaching experience. So then you can ask them, okay, what should be included in your teaching experience? And like now you said earlier that you want to include some assessment or the things. In this case, you can say when you are going for your teaching practice, we will give you feedback. Your students will give you feedback, so you include that in your portfolio. So do not restrict them at this moment that you can only include this, you can only include this, but let them experiment and let them put everything in the e-portfolio. And then at the end of each year, you can say, now present to me in 7 documents an e-portfolio and show me, are you eligible for that job now or not? And if not, what are you we going to do next year to make you eligible? So it is a progressive journey, and that is what students will appreciate, that when they graduate, they actually have an e-portfolio to take with them. Did I answer you?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. That was very interesting approach. I think encouraging our students that this is a progressive way of moving forward, and they can start it from the very first semester, and then they can put everything in it, whatever they learn or whatever feedback they receive from different teachers. Yes,
Yes.
thank you so much.
And you can write a paper about it. So you also get a publication.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's wonderful. Dear audience, do you have any questions? Don't be shy. We have a wonderful speaker. Dr. Zari is very, very kind and generous person.
I'm
So,
all yours. You can ask.
yeah, thank you. So, if you have any
Yes,
questions,
I have another.
Hmm?
I don't know if it is a question or just my view that when any third person looks at your portfolio, he or she has his own choices as well to look to the perspective with which he's looking at your portfolio. So, in your personal experience, have you got something to share with us where the design of your portfolio or the way you have presented your experience and qualification has helped you to have a good position? Of course, you have given us the example of Germany, but within the other countries, how did it hit to the other community, or what was the best thing in your e-portfolio? And the second thing is that what do you see? What are the weaknesses of having a e-portfolio? Sometimes when you go for an interview, and if you are not very good sometimes in presenting your achievements, and you have done a lot of work on your portfolio, but you are not able to present that at the time of interview. How did it influence your, your presentation as an employer?
Okay, as an employer, I have not seen anybody unsuccessful with a portfolio, but I have seen the examples, as I say, where I know a person has presented something in their portfolio which is not correct. So if not in my institution, but in another place where the person knew that the job requires French language, and the person has written in the portfolio that he can speak French language proficiently, but really all the person can do was say hello and thank you. So this is where the mismatch between e-portfolio is there, but the person got the interview on the basis of e-portfolio, and the panel then decided that this person is not suited. The HEC approach that I mentioned, I got the job in 2005 because of the portfolio. In last year, there was the same position for a project that actually I designed and I initiated, and I was very confident that I will get that job. So it was the National Academy and the head for National Academy. At that time, I was not given the opportunity to give my portfolio. So HEC has got a very prescribed format. When did you do your matriculation? When you do your PhD, MBBS, which does not mean anything. So I have to fill in all those details where I think spent about 3-4 hours, and still I was not able to convince to the people why they should have me, because there was no opportunity for me to showcase what I've been doing. And the panel was not interested in seeing a portfolio. They were just interested in talking to me and asking me questions which they thought were very standardized. But again, I've got a view that if you are selecting somebody at a key position, you do not ask same standardized questions, you explore it further. So that was a very different experience for me, and I was not selected, which was okay. So that does happen. And you asked me something else which I forgot. Your first question.
Yes, that was basically the disadvantage of having it, and especially there are people who are not very good in technology, but they are very good in otherwise. So for
Yeah.
them, it's always have a disadvantage not to have one.
So if you are not good at technology, there are people available who can do it for you. If
Yes.
technology is not a competency that is required by your profession, so if you are going for a professor or associate professor and you are not very good at creating a website, that is fine. There is a website which is called Fiverr, Fiver, where you can get it done for $10. There are people on that website who will also write the blogs for you, which is stupid, but you can definitely get a very nice professionally done website for you which shows everything that you want to. They can do wonders, so you can use them. But where communication is the key to get that job, and at interview they see that you are not very confident in your communication, then it is again something that was required by the job, but you were unable to demonstrate that. So that's why people now have got YouTube videos, and some of the jobs in UK and Australia also ask you to send a YouTube video of your presentation where you are teaching something to the class, so they can see your class experience. How do you manage?
Thank you so much, Dr. Zari, for your wonderful session, and thanks for accepting my invitation and sharing the information on ePortfolio. That's a powerful source of showcasing someone's potential through evidence-based achievement. We are grateful to you, to see you, and to listen your views about how to design the ePortfolio for the Faculty Professional Development Day, and we are looking forward to see you in a future as well. So I have scheduled your one session in January, inshallah, and I will see you there. So thank you so much, Dr. Zari.
Thanks to all of you to be very patient with me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much to your audience. Just stay connected. We have the second phase of the webinar, focus on research, that we will start shortly. Thank you so much, Dr. Naima. And I will encourage to all of you, please ask question directly to the speaker, because this is the fantastic opportunity where you can interact directly with the speaker and you can ask the questions. Thank you so much. Stay connected and I will join you shortly. Wasim, can you please stop the recording?